question was raised, why did God create such a beautiful body of the humans? Question is valid. Question is understandable by all of us. What was the reason behind creating such a beautiful body? Question is simple. The answer is very deep. And you will understand only if you want to understand. The beautiful body is a creation of God, because God Himself is beautiful. The beauty of the body can be understood as we go deep within. We as human beings, we do have a body, and we do have a mind, and we do have a soul that we know of. We have not experienced it yet. Logically, it seems that we have it. At each and every different level, we are studied with evidences of journey of millenniums. Our toes, our fingers, our eyes, they have been perfected over millions of years. It's not an overnight thing. It wasn't born with us. It has been born. The eyes have been born. Hands have been born. Walking has been born. For millions of years of evolution has brought the body that we have right now. So we have a whole history studied within every single part of our body. But something did change from animals to the humans. What changed was the mind came into the action. Not that animals do not have the mind, but their minds were very primitive. They were able to do simple calculations necessary for the survival of the body, survival of the species. Because they had primitive minds, because they used them, that's why we are here in a much more advanced fashion at the mind level. And that's why man is called Manushya. The word man also comes from Manushya. Manushya means the one with the mind. And with the advanced mind came capacity to analyze, dissect, understand, comprehend the whole scenario of the sansar which is in front of us. With the advanced mind came the ability to remember the past events, to project into the future, and to analyze, synthesize, come to conclusions, and further advance, something that had not been seen at the animal level. So what about the time? The time also, the sense of the time, was also created with the advanced mind. And time was necessary to remember the past, understand the present, to do something about this too, so that we can have a better future. Our ability got advanced so that we can try to choose our future, something that was never there before. And we should be feeling proud of it. So past, present, future became like an everyday thing for us. So with the advanced mind, literally the time was created. Not that time probably was not there before, but the sense of the time got very well defined. And then came the ability to synthesize, put the dots together, to understand the action and reaction, the cause and the effect. All these things came. So whatever happened today, we try to realize what were the events preceding to the present day that could have caused the present situation. This is a superb ability that humans have. And then based on this, we can change our present behavior so that our future can change also. The problem is, we got involved in it. We got stuck in it. We are dependent on it. And we never have realized what is beyond the mind. Or is there anything beyond the mind? And the answer is there is. So when the question is asked, why this beautiful body was created by the God, each and every word has a significant significance that can be analyzed into great detail and the depth to rise higher spiritually. So the first question, first word is why. Our inquisitive mind is asking why. So again, cause and effect relationship is studied in our mind. And that's why we are asking, why was the body created? So again, it signifies, it symbolizes the human mind, which wants to know the reason, which wants to know the past events responsible for the present situation. It's understandable, it's logical. If you ask this question to anyone, and not about God, even anything, it's easy to understand. Why was an airplane created? Okay, because humans wanted to fly. Why was this done? Why was this building done? Because there was a purpose behind it. So it was a premeditated event. Every event that happens, we believe there is a cause for it in the past. All this happened because of our ability to hold on to the memories of the past. Our mind is nothing but collection of these memories. And it's a very well refined mind compared to the primitive animal mind. So it has a more capacity to memorize, more capacity to hold on to it, more capacity to synthesize, analyze it. So why is understandable, that if one human asks, other human will understand. If you ask the same question to a dog, he would not understand that, because he doesn't have a mind to go that far. So a question that is coming is from a human being, and it's understandable because it's a human question asked to a human being. And then we say that why was the beautiful body was created by God. Was, again, gives a flavor of the time. Was means something that happened in the past that is responsible for whatever we see right now. Beautiful, again, is an aesthetic word that also came with the human beings. The aesthetic mind was also much more refined advancement over the minds of the animals, which did not have aesthetic sense. A tree was a tree, and a river was a river. Sunlight was a sunlight. As long as their bodies' demands were met, that was good enough. But the ability to see the beauty was again a gift of a human mind. So that again shows our advancement compared to the animal mind. And God is, of course, the ultimate concept that animals are far from it. So, by asking this question, we are expressing the fact that we are human beings. We are Manushya. And every single word is signifying that we are living on two crutches of time and space. All the events that happen in life has two things in common. It is stamped with time, and it happens in a space, whether sun rises and sets, or the wind blows, or you run a marathon, or you climb a mountain. It doesn't matter. Everything is time-stamped, and everything requires space. And our mind is so trained on these two crutches that we are running on these crutches all over, asking questions, talking to each other, running with each other, competing with each other, winning over the others, defeating others, being defeated by others. There is like a jumbled up human society, each one bragging about their ability to utilize these two crutches, the time and space. And this far, we are okay. This is the world of questions. This is the world of answers. The questions will be used on a time-space modality, and answers also can be given in time-space modality. Then there would not be any purpose in asking the question. The purpose of the spiritual group is to realize that there is something beyond the mind. The mind right now is employed towards the events that is happening around. And mind is so powerful that it created the time. If there was no mind, there would not be any time. So mind itself, even though how powerful it is, right now it has taken the support of the time and space. Our whole life is lived on time-space crutches, and which is still a significant advancement compared to the humans, compared to the animals who did not have this luxury of advanced mind. But what is lying beyond the mind is also the capacity of humans. As long as you live in the mind level, at the mind level, you are Manushya. But there is something beyond the mind that few people have gone beyond and experienced it. And their experience have shown that mind is still a limited entity. Mind is a product of something vast, something beyond. And mind is something that did not exist at one time. So it's a new development. So something that preceded the whole civilizations, even the animal kingdoms, something that is before all these things even started, even before the first amoeba was created, even before the whole universe was created, there was something that gave rise to all these things. So the question arises, what do these people know that we don't? Only through a steady meditative practices we can go and scratch the surface of what lies beyond the mind by observing the mind, by understanding that mind is a limited thing. It requires the crutches of the time and space, where the questions can be asked. Why was this done? Why this was not done? What could have been done? All these questions are valid at the mind level. But these great masters of spirituality have gone beyond. And if you go beyond with a steady state of awareness and continue to be aware of your mind, the play of the mind starts surfacing. The mind starts becoming remote. The time and space starts becoming remote. All the events start becoming remote. And yet the existence still remains. All of a sudden you realize that you have dropped the crutches of the time and space, and you're flying. Body was studded to the ground. Mind was running all over, but still locked in the time and space fabric. And now, in the spiritual space, you don't have time. You don't have space. Everything that the mind knew about itself is gone, is remote, and the existence is still there. Who took it? Who took the person into this space? The same mind. The mind which was bent towards the sansar. All these interactions of the physical bodies, the matter, the people, the objects, the situations. Mind was keeping track of all these things. And by movement of these objects, it created the concept of time. Not that it's not there. It's there only for the minds who wants to believe it. Go to a fish, has no sense of time. Very primitive life. But now we know that movement of the objects can be timelined, and distances of the movement of the objects can be measured in miles and kilometers. All this is etched into our minds, and which is fine. It is needed to live in the society where every mind is living around you. So these interactions are possible only if you believe in time and space. But the same mind can be turned inwards and taken into infinite zone of emptiness, which is not just empty, but it is fully conscious also. And this consciousness becomes enough by itself. So at this point, the mind becomes saturated with the experience of this empty consciousness, empty existence. It brings the flavor from the material mind. In the beginning, it seems empty, but this eventually becomes the reality. And in this reality, there is no time, there is no space. And all the products of time and space also become remote. The body itself is only a temporary creation, just like a dream. You go to sleep, the dreams are created. But if you are watching the dream, it seems so real. But once you wake up, it becomes a dream. So going beyond the mind is the evolution that spiritual masters chose to take. They analyzed their within. They went beyond the time and space. So if the time and space crutches are dropped, the flying is possible in the spiritual space. What happens to the question then? Why was this beautiful body created? The answer is, it depends at what level you are talking about. We have gone beyond the body. So obviously at the body level, these questions would not have arisen. But at the mind level, obviously, question arises. So to get an answer which is raised at the mind level, you have to go beyond. Just like you bring the food for your dog. Dog doesn't know how to go to the pet place and bring the food for itself. You have to do it because you have more advanced mind than the dog's mind. Same way, if the mind has an answer, a question, the answer can be coming out only from when you go beyond the mind. But it becomes an oxymoron because mind is what's asking the question. But when you transcend the mind, the question disappears because now you are in a different zone where there is no time, there is no space. Only the formless reality exists. So, and that's what we call God, or godliness, or Tao, or Satori, whatever that state you name, you gave, it doesn't matter. They're all one and the same. The God of Muslim, God of Hindu, God of Jains, God of Sikh, Isai, all of those is the same thing. The formless existence. And at that level, the question arises, why did God created this beautiful human body? The question is, why do we see the dream? Why do the dreams come? At the existential level, at the godliness level, the whole material world, the one with the forms, becomes part of this consciousness. Everything is derived from this consciousness. Just like you go to sleep at night and you see the dream, whether you see a racing train or the raging river or a roller coaster in an action park or a slot machine in a casino. They all are created from your same mental energy. Similarly, when you wake up to the consciousness, the whole universe seems to be created within the consciousness itself. Everything becomes consciousness. And then the events happening within this so-called dream becomes meaningless. Because in the dream, people run. But the dreamer does not run. You stay in your bed. Inside your energy, which created artificial, fake human beings, are running. You creating mountains. Does it mean anything? No, because you haven't gone anywhere. Same way, the consciousness is steady. Whatever movement that we see is only perceived by the mind. But when you go beyond the mind, nothing remains. And then question is, what is it then? That's the mystery. That's why spiritual masters were called mystics. Their specialty was mysticism. It's a beautiful enigma that remains. At that point, we realize how tiny we are in this grand, beautiful existence. So all we can do is submit ourselves, bow down, and enjoy the beauty of every single breath, every single beauty of the universe that we see. That was the purpose, I guess, because time and space does not exist at consciousness level. So you cannot even have a purpose, because to have the purpose means you don't have something, you want to create something for the future. But there you go, there is no future. How can you have a purpose without a future, without the time? This is the language of Manushya, the humans. And the language says, whatever you do, there has to be a purpose. But that's the human language. That's not the language of the gods. The language of the gods is silence. Enjoying the beauty of this silence, which is priceless. I hope this clarifies, if at all, or confuses the existing question. But this is the spirituality in a nutshell.